variable on both sides. So when solving equations, the variable should be on one side of the equal sign, which we've done before in the previous videos. If the variable is on both sides, then we need to move one variable to the other side by adding or subtracting. So we'll just say add or subtract. So let's look at some examples. So example 1. So the temperature in town A is 10 degrees and falling 2 degrees every hour. In town B, far away, the temperature is 4 degrees and rising 4 degrees every hour. Right, so these could be, right, if you're in different parts of the world, you're in different time zones here. So solve the hour when they will have the same temperature by solving for x in the equation below. So here we are, right? On one side we have town A, and then we have town B. So it's 10 degrees falling 2 degrees every hour. So x is right for hour, and we need to find what hour that is when they're equal. So we're solving, so when this is equal. And then we have the other town, which is right 4 degrees, which is rising 4 degrees every hour, right? So that's 4x. So let's go ahead and start to solve this. So what we're going to do is move the variable first, right? So we're going to move the variable from one side to the other. So what I'm going to do is add the 2x to both sides. So that's our first step, right? So on this equal sign, this now becomes 0. Then we're left with 10 on the left-hand side. Then we have 4x plus 2x is equal to 6x. And then we're going to just bring down the plus 4. So let's look at the next step. What's the next step? Move one number from one side right to the other. So we're going to get x by itself. So we need to go ahead and move this 4. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 4 on both sides. So we're going to bring down 6x. This is now just 0. We don't need to bring down the 0, right? Because 10 plus 0 is just 10. So 10 minus 4 is now 6. So what are we left with? Right, so the next step, we're left with 6 is equal to 6x. Get the variable by itself. So this is going back to the first few videos, right? We're going to have to go ahead and divide. So we're going to go divide by 6 on both sides. This gets x, right, all by itself. And then on the left-hand side, we have 6 divided by 6, which just becomes 1. So x is equal to 1. So in 1 hour, both these towns will have the same temperature. So let's look at another example. And then I just did these steps so you could see right by the colors what was happening. So now let's go to example 2. So we're going to solve for x in the equation below. So we have 30 minus 2x is equal to 8x. So let's notice that we have x here and an x here. So we need to get them all to one side. So that's our first step. So let's go ahead and add 2x to both sides. Now I'm moving the 2x because I want eventually to have the x's all by itself. So if I move the 8x over, then I would have 30 minus 10x, and we don't want that. So now we're left with just 30 on one side. And then on the right-hand side, we have 8x plus 2x. We just add the numbers, so that's 10x. Then we're going to go ahead and now, right? So now we can get x by itself. And the way we do this is we're going to go ahead and divide by 10. Right? And the reason why we do that is because we have 10. We need to get rid of 10. So we go ahead and divide by it. Because this 10 times x. That's really what it's saying. We have 10 times x. So we need to undo that multiplication by division on both sides. So this just becomes 1. Now we have 30 divided by 10, and that's equal to 3. So x is equal to 3. So let's look at one more example. So solve for x in the equation below. So we have 7x plus 4 is equal to negative 9x minus 22. So let's get x by itself first to one side, right? So let's go ahead and just add plus 9x to both sides. I like to have, if I can, the variable being positive. That's just kind of usually what I do. You can always go either way. Like you could go subtract 7x on both sides. You will get to the same answer. So we're going to go ahead and add 9x to both sides. This then becomes 0, and then we have a positive x value here on the left-hand side. So 7x plus 9x is 16x plus 4, so we just bring that down. And then on the right-hand side, we have minus 22. So 16x plus 4 equals 0 minus 22, so that's just negative 22. So let's go ahead and rewrite this. So if we need to get, I forgot the x, which is very important. So if we need to get x by itself, the next step will be to move this number. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 4 on both sides. This becomes 0, and then we're left with 16x. We're getting really close to getting x by itself. So then we have negative 22 minus 4. So that would be negative 26. So if we have negative 26, what do we do next? Well, we need to get x by itself. So if we were to rewrite this, right, 16x is equal to negative 26. We go ahead and divide by 16 on both sides. So now x is equal to negative 26 over 16, and that's our answer. But we can reduce, so x is equal to negative 13 over 8. So we can just leave it as a fraction. You can also go ahead and pull out your calculator, and you can go 13, right? 13 divided by 8, and we would get negative 1.625, right? Right, these mean the same thing. One's a fraction, one's a decimal.